Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Samuels. I am the founder and CEO of Evolve Career, and I have the pleasure of speaking with one of the most recent participants in the NPHI Rising Leaders Program. KP, what is your role in the organization that sponsored you in this program, and what are your main responsibilities?
My name is Katherine Paez, but everyone calls me KP, which I love. And I'm the Director of Nursing for Hospice of Santa Cruz County. I've been with the organization for 12 years. My role is really the bridge between our senior leaders and our field staff.
Wow, I love that, the bridge. And that's essentially what we were talking about in many of our one-to-one coaching sessions. Of my second question to you is, when you were nominated for the Rising Leaders Program, what did that mean to you?
For me, it was really about them recognizing that I still have a lot of growth to do and that there were opportunities for me for learning in how to move my strategic thinking, move my public persona presence up to the next level so that I could continue to grow in leadership and learn new skills.
Absolutely. And so I would love to help have folks understand, what kind of work did we focus on in our sessions, or some of the self-paced reflection exercises that meant the most to you?
We talked a lot about strategic thinking, and I think that that for me was actually the most critical because it's something that I'm working on right now in my everyday work here at the organization. How do I start strategic planning? How do I communicate my strategic thinking and the implementation process? Every step of that is something that is a growth point for me, and just being able to talk it through and talk it through with other people in the hospice industry who are also learning and executing these things was really valuable for me.
Yeah, and one of your recent wins was even around a communication piece. So maybe even expand on that. That was a project prior to you enrolling in the program, but how did our work even help that execution of that project?
Absolutely. So we've been working on direct patient communication, which has been a project that it's almost a year. And what happened when I was in the program, we really started utilizing some of the planning in a different way. And that has allowed us to get that strategic thinking into planning and into action. At this current time, we have our pilot in full swing with a plan to roll out the direct patient communication to all staff by the end of this month. And I really feel like taking it from thinking to action, I needed support there, and I got a lot of great support, but also ideas on how to do it from working with you.
Oh, thank you. And I'm just so delighted. So, what were some of the favorite points for you throughout any and all of those engagements?
I really felt like the times when we got to go into breakout rooms and communicate with each other about our challenges and successes, and it really felt like we got to bolster all of ourselves up, but also communicate ideas on how we're doing things that may or may not work for each other, right? And so those ideas and that personal connection, I felt was something that you just can't get anywhere, right? You go to a big conference, you don't get that one-on-one time to meet people who are your peers essentially in this industry and are the people that you need to network with and communicate with and share ideas with because the hospice industry is changing.
I love that you brought up the changing of the trends within the healthcare and hospice space. And so, by the time you finish this program, what are some tangible results that are meaningful for you and personal to you throughout the time here in terms of growth?
Most important was just my personal internal growth. So, when I'm in a position where I'm not as certain of myself, I was finding myself with a lot of anxiety and just feeling of stress. And so being able to talk to other people and being able to talk to you and sort of break down these ideas that were seemed like they were too much, but to break them down into manageable pieces and be able to think about how I can do that in the future was really valuable to me. So it wasn't necessarily an external thing that happened for me. It was really the internal process change of my thinking that made a huge difference.
I love that. And so, had you ever worked with an executive coach before? And if not, what would you say to someone that's on the fence of trying out the Rising Leaders program?
I would say is that even if you've taken a lot of courses, there's always something to learn. We're not just thinking about your mind shift change. We're not just thinking about strategic thinking, public persona. We're putting all of that together and synthesizing it into how do you move forward in leadership in particular. So I personally had not worked with a leadership coach. I've worked with a nursing coach, which is very helpful. But this really put a different mindset on it to move me forward as a leader, not just as a human being.